Oh man, feeling really, really low energy right about now. Like it's time to go to bed. So what's up? Nobody in particular. Um, Tomorrow, in a few hours, is Thanksgiving. I just wonder, like, how do people feel about celebrating Thanksgiving? Um, Seeing as how the whole spiel and the whole premise of Thanksgiving is steeped in falsehood, lies. At the stop sign, turn left. My both of my things got the yeah. It's funny to me because they told us in elementary school that Thanksgiving was like that first winter that the Pilgrims made it and they survived, and they sat down with the Indians, and they all had turkey and yams and whatever else Pilgrims and Indians ate. But then you see like a whole bunch of Indians on reservations and in like undesirable places where like nobody really wanted to settle. In like the worst, like Indians are in the worst position of like any peoples, and that's including formerly enslaved peoples. And so for me, Thanksgiving is not like I don't really feel Thanksgiving. I'm not feeling it. But we still get together as families, and we try to turn it into something that it wasn't meant to be. But it's crazy, man, when you look at history and you just kind of like start to the beginning, how many of the holidays or holy days is just kind of steeped in paganism. Um, hey, James Oliver. Um, yeah, to me, it's really insane how much of what we do has been commercialized and put a pretty bow on it, and you know sanitize it. I just wonder, like, how will all of this stuff that's happening right now eventually be sanitized in the future? I look at, let's go President Trump, January 6th. Um, you almost forget what happened. Like, I almost really don't remember how bad it was. I remember we could see it on TV and it was just insane. But then, like, when you heard other people talking about it, they called it a dust up. Thank you for the thumbs up. I'm in Malaysia. How's Malaysia? It's probably daytime in Malaysia right now. It's like 10 o'clock in Sweet Home, Alabama. But welcome and shout out to Malaysia. But to me, it's just crazy, insane how like people died on that day, and then to hear it referred to as a dust up. A dust up is something where like you had a football game or a basketball game and fisticuffs fly, and then you just kind of leave and it's over. But like people was taking poops on people's desks, and they literally was running and hiding for their lives. Like what would happen? What would have happened on January 6th if they would have found some of those people that they were looking for? They had the what do you call the thing where they hang people? gallows. They had like a gallows, like right there with the little noose knot and everything. Like, what would have happened if they would have found one of them politicians? So, I just wondered, like, how would that have played out? Like, would they have, like, literally, like, put him on there and just went mob style? What was they gonna do though? Like, I really feel like people don't know how far they're gonna go, because don't forget, in this country, there was a time when hanging and lynchings was absolutely a Sunday. It was like Sunday, um, like NFL Sunday. They would go to a lynching, find a black man that had offended in some like really minor way. Sometimes it wasn't even an offense. Somebody just said it was an offense. Um, and they just find the person and they string that dude up. No, they would torture him, man. They would castrate him. Like, why was it always about black male genitalia? It was always that, like, let me cut his balls off. Like, man, you about to kill me. Why can I? Do you really need my balls? You gonna kill me? Excuse me, that's lewd. But I just, I don't understand. I don't understand how, like, how did we get here as a country? Like, that, it doesn't make sense to me. How? Yeah, I don't really think. Maybe they did. Maybe the people that stormed the Capitol, maybe they did know what they was gonna do, and maybe I'm just living in La La Land. I wondered, like, would they have hung Nancy Pelosi? Because that's who they was looking for, her. What would they have done if they found what's his name, Pence? Because they was mad at him, because Trump was like, he was a traitor. I'm really interested to see how all of this goes down. And I mean, it's like less than 50 days, or about 50 days until inauguration day. And y'all know that this man is he's about to call a state of emergency. The border. Is it in a state of emergency? Probably. It probably is. Like, like at this point, what is the point of having a border if people just gonna come and go as they see fit? And I mean, honestly, what is the point of having a border? Like, it's just an arbitrary place that people agree upon to say, hey, this is my side and this is your side. Don't come on this side. But the trip for me is his Trump's whole thing about calling it a state of emergency is now I can activate the military. I can get the military on this. And he don't want the National Guard. See, that's normally he would do it. Hey, what's up, Dave? Good to see you too. Thank you for stopping by. See, Trump don't want the National Guard. He poo-poos on the National Guard a lot. And the National Guard is the real military. It is the real military. But he'll call it like they not the real military, like they not out here giving up their time. Because National Guard does deploy. And so put some respect on their name, President. But I don't know, man. It's just insane to me how he expects active duty military to go out there and pick up these people that are here, quote unquote, illegally. But the kicker to me, I saw this on the news. So he's trying to get rid of the clause of like, hey, like, because there's the people that come into the country and they have a baby, and so because their baby was born in the country, even though they're not a citizen, their child is. He's trying to get rid of that. But I know y'all saw that Melania, she was in the country when she had Barron, um, and she wasn't yet a citizen. So, like, are you gonna send your son away? What's is that the conclusion? Like, sometimes I just like feel like he really don't be thinking through stuff, or maybe he just be saying stuff, and then his team is like, "Hey, Mr. President, actually you can't do that." And then, like, I feel like he just don't really know the Constitution. I mean, but most Americans don't know the Constitution, But I don't know. I'm just ranting tonight. I really feel that in my spirit, like it it's about to be. I think it's gonna be funny, but not really funny. Like how insane it's about to be. Like if all of these plans that this guy, like imagine if he does everything that he said he was gonna do. And we know most politicians, they just lie and they just talk and they cap a lot. They making up stuff. They're saying whatever they think people want to hear. And then when it actually comes to it, it's, hey, we couldn't get it done. But I'm excited because, like, you look at the House, it's Republican. You look at the Senate, it's Republican. The president, he's Republican. And so, in theory, a lot should be able to get done, right? A lot should be able to get done. Um, but what about Joe Biden, man? President Biden, like I feel like President Biden is trying to kick off World War III, and I'm not talking negative. I mean, it's just an opinion. Like you look at how President Biden just gave Ukraine permission to fire off them long-range weapons into Moscow, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like it's almost kind of like it seemed kind of fake because like if you give me a weapon and I have the weapon, but I have it only on the condition that I say, hey, I'm not gonna fire it into Russia. So like what happened if they just be like, oops, my bad, we fired it into Russia? Like what were they gonna do? What would happen? Or was it that the weapons that they was giving them, they had fixed them so they couldn't actually fire long range? I think I heard that they kind of fixed the weapon somehow so they couldn't fire that far. And now the weapons that they have, so like, are they sending weapons now? And so now I got so many questions. It's like, are they sending the weapons now with them not being fixed to where they can't fire that far? Are they actual target now? Like, does Russia know, like, hey, this particular aircraft or this particular boat or however the stuff is getting there, this is carrying missiles? Like, hold on, what does it say? Good for you. Hold on, shoot. Good for you for thinking about different view and sides. I would be more worried with world affairs. Crazy crap going on. Range on the weapons can't hit Moscow. Only 180-mile range. You talking about the ATACMS? No, 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 no. Them ATACMS can do work, man. They can do work. They absolutely can go far. And yeah, I'm curious to see. But you might be right. I haven't really looked at the range on the ATACMS, honestly. But at this point, honestly, here's what I think is going to happen. I think when President Trump gets into office, I actually do think he's going to. I think that the war is going to get settled, because you look at what's going on? China and Russia have this no limit partnership, right? And so, no limit partnership, what does that actually mean? Does that mean like they a music group? Does that mean, hey, look, if we get in trouble, y'all got our back, and if y'all get in trouble, we got your back? Brothers till the end? Like, what does that actually mean? I feel like Russia, because if don't forget, Russia has not fully mobilized their their whole army. Like, if their whole army just decided, if President Putin was like, you know what, this ain't no special operation, it's war, it's full blown war. We at it. Everybody is going. I feel like the war will be over relatively quickly. But you look at all of these nations that are contributing, um, just dumping artillery into Ukraine, just dumping money. So, like, stockpiles are starting to run low. Now, Russia is using North Korea stuff. Is it because Russia's stuff has run out? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just feel like the plan is, hey, go ahead and go in there and just keep bleeding their artillery. Keep bleeding their artillery. We don't care about these people that's dying. Honestly, the population was big. I mean, we could stand to lose. Those prisoners that they sending in the war. I mean, they better off doing that than rotting in a jail. You're extremely independent thinker. That's a compliment. Thank you. I appreciate that. They require GPS coordination from U.S. systems. They couldn't have been fired before without our help. Dave, you sound like you in the Army, man. You sound like you got some Army knowledge, or a veteran. If so, thank you for your service. Yeah, man. I also heard, I don't know if y'all heard this. They said President Biden, like, in conversations, was throwing around giving Ukraine nukes. Giving Ukraine nukes. I'm like, President Biden, like, hey, man, I'm about to be dead in like a year or two, so I really don't even care what happened. So, I mean, we can go ahead and just start the war off. Dave, along those lines of being an independent thinker, I feel like that because I just look at it like, what has the government? So the government is necessary, but I feel like the government haven't necessarily done nothing. Not necessarily. I want to say they haven't done anything for blacks, but that's not necessarily true. I don't know, man. I just feel like this country have a stain on it, and that stain, that legacy, um, of slavery that hasn't been righted. Now we can look and throughout civilizations and time, like, well, everybody's held slaves. Africans had slaves. Everyone held slaves. Yeah, I get that. But for America, we this city on a hill. A shining example. We got the moral high ground. How we gonna claim the moral high ground when we had like slaves and still have slaves? Let's not forget that. There's slavery. Human trafficking is slavery. It's slavery. Um, so we had that, and there was no rectifying of that whole process. Like, you could say, "Oh, I'm sorry. We formally apologize to the descendants and to those people that was negatively impacted by these hundreds of years of free labor and blah blah blah." But actually, reparations, man. Reparations. How do we calculate how much reparations is due? I don't know. But we got a lot of smart people in this country. I'm sure they can figure something out. How do you figure out who gets reparations? Like, hey, man, what if I'm like, I technically identify as white, but I got like 2% black, because I had a black ancestor in the family tree, and we got him out of there, but we look totally white, but I still got black in my DNA. How How do you figure all that stuff out? I don't know. But I feel like something needs to be done in terms of, because we always gonna have this perpetual gap between the races, and race is a fake, made up thing, but the way it's played out is very much so. It's very much so negatively impacted folks that were considered black. Yeah. No. There's some things on the So I'll read your comment. Not everything is hard red or blue. People need to realize it. I agree. I mean, a lot of stuff is purple. For me, I look at. I'm conservative. I'm a. I'm probably a conservative liberal because I do think women should have the right to make decisions in their own self determination on how they want to handle their body. Um, I've seen, like, just being in a southern state, seeing how shoot, my battery probably low. Seeing how they will not let women that have maybe had a miscarriage and the baby is in there and is tearing up their body and really messing up their bodies, but they would not do a DNC. Don't ask me what a DNC, not Democratic National Convention, but that gosh, it's like a curettage something. I can't remember what it is, but it's a procedure where they remove like the non-viable tissue, because that tissue, when it's left in the woman, it causes all types of health conditions. But like in these southern states, the doctors, they've been educated and they know, but they like, man, I ain't trying to get locked up just because the policy is so jacked up. And so I don't know, man. I don't I can't get behind the conservative view of, no abortion, no, there's no excuse. There's some people that's like, no, no matter what. Like, even if father rapes daughter, daughter becomes pregnant, so what? You're gonna have that baby, and just put the baby up for adoption. I feel like people forget, like, I'm very strong in my beliefs, but I understand my beliefs don't, like, this is not a theocracy. That's not us. We're a democracy. So the people are supposed to run and to rule and determine how and what we do. And so for me, the thing that I can't figure out is how uh, so many women that will be negatively impacted by these policies voted for that man. That I just, because here's what a lot of the Christians say, and I'm a Christian. But here's what a lot of them say. It's Trump, when he rolled back all of that trans serving in the military, and like, the marriage definition of a marriage is, a man and a woman, because that's where the Republicans used to be. And you see how quick they moved off of that. That platform changed real quick. Um, Once they realized that was a losing thing. And so I'm just curious, because all of the I can't pretend to fully understand why and what Trump's rationale for getting rid of transgender people in the military. And see, me, I'm like, all right, maybe you don't let them in, but maybe you don't kick them out, because, like, and here's why I say that. That's kind of crazy, but the reason why I say maybe you don't let them in is because, like, hey, man, like, you knew you had gender or body dysmorphia or whatever you call it before you got into the military. You just coming into the military basically to get this surgery paid for free, and then you're gonna get out. Um, that's not what the military is for. I mean, it's used like that, but that shouldn't be what it's for. I don't know. So just some of the stuff, like, that's on the conservative side, I don't agree with. Some of the stuff on the liberal side, I don't necessarily agree with either. Um, so, but there's never been a third party that has won the election, and there never will be. They're not going to win. But this two-party system is not really working out so well for Black people. And I think that's obvious and evident by just look how many in the course of 4 years, um, how the percentage increased in support of President Trump. And to me, it's I can't get with them. I can't get with them because he's just the stuff he says is so racist. If he didn't talk so racist, maybe I could get with him. Maybe I could. Maybe I'd be like, it's cool. I mean, like, I'm all right. Like a lot of the stuff that he's doing, like deregulating and stuff. Um, I don't know. I don't know what that impacts. Maybe that's better for businesses, but I feel like President Trump, his greatest illusion and his greatest trick was getting the poor person, the middle class, to think he's for them, because his policies is not. It's for business. YouTube didn't shut me down. My bad, y'all. YouTube didn't shut me down. Um, my phone overheated. I forgot. I got this little aftermarket phone case that don't let my phone breathe, and eventually it shuts down. But I don't know. I don't know if you follow me. You remember I had that clean shaven military man look. Um, this is kind of what it turned into after I felt like I was done wrong by my boss. Um, but I don't know. Who knows? I probably will cut it. But anyway, I am at the house, and I probably need to end this live because I know the family. Um, I got a full house here, man. It's a four bedroom house, 2,000 something square feet. It's probably like 15 people up in that thing, man. I ain't gonna say nothing racist, but it's a lot of people up in there. And so, why is this trunk open? Uh, So I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I thank y'all for watching, man. This is cool, man. 30 people. I almost don't feel like ending the live, but I know if I get in there, it's gonna be a lot of screaming. It's gonna sound like that little Mickey Mouse Club meme where Mickey and Donald Duck is fighting, because that's how my kids are. Um, yeah. Anyway, thank y'all. God bless. Good night.